The bonds between people are fragile threads. Love, friendship, and betrayal often walk hand in hand, and sometimes one unspoken word can change everything. Olivia sat and waited, and waited. That morning, for some reason, memories kept flooding her mind. Michael and David had always been best friends, inseparable. Everything was shared equally between them. The entire school knew about their strong bond, and everyone was sure that if you told something to one, the other would know too. Both guys were into sports and, naturally, had no enemies. Who would dare mess with a duo like that? Olivia had joined their little group by chance. They were paired together to perform at their graduation. She was from a parallel class and had only seen them around before. But during rehearsals, they clicked so well that she became part of their trio. The first year was wonderful. They were genuinely close friends. No hints, no drama, no one trying to be the center of attention. Then the boys went off to the army almost at the same time. That's when Olivia realized she was in love with David. About a month after they were drafted, she received letters from both of them. Both contained confessions. Olivia didn't know what to do. If she wrote back to Michael and told him she loved David, who knew how he'd react? Michael had a fiery temper. David was much calmer. But Michael's reaction? Only God could guess. For weeks, Olivia didn't write to either of them. She couldn't sleep at night. Eventually, she decided to ask for advice from Miss Anna, David's grandmother. Miss Anna was a sweet elderly lady. The three of them would often stop by her house after walks. They knew she'd feed them, listen, hug them. She was wise, and they often turned to her for guidance. Timidly, Olivia knocked on her door. "Miss Anna, may I?" "Oh, Olivia, of course. Come in. I thought you wouldn't visit me until the boys returned from the army." Miss Anna hugged her, and Olivia instantly felt lighter. She knew she'd find help here. They soon sat at the kitchen table, sipping tea. "Now tell me what's happened. At first I thought you just came to visit, but I see now it's not just that." "Miss Anna, I don't know what to do. It's about David and Michael." "Ah, yes, them," Miss Anna said with a knowing smile. Olivia told her everything, openly and honestly. She didn't hold back or play coy. Miss Anna tapped her fingers on the table. "I could see both boys were in love with you, but I didn't expect it to come out so soon. And do you have feelings for one of them?" "I wanted to tell David, but now I don't know what to do." They talked for a long time. Eventually, they agreed Olivia should send the same message to both boys, one that would give her time and space. "While I'm studying, I won't be thinking about relationships. Even if I have feelings for one of you, no one will know until I graduate." Olivia doubted it would work, but surprisingly, it did. The boys agreed she was right. A lot could change while they were in the army, including themselves. David returned first. Olivia couldn't keep it in. She told him everything. They agreed to keep it a secret from Michael. After all, she still had 2 years left to study. Another year passed. Olivia never figured out how Michael found out. One evening, the doorbell rang. If she had known he was drunk, she wouldn't have let him in. But she didn't know. He burst in, didn't even let her close the door, grabbed her tightly. "So, you've been fooling around with my best friend behind my back, huh? That's not how friends treat each other. Gave yourself to one, then to the other." "Michael, you're drunk. Let me go," she cried, struggling. Michael smirked. "Oh, so David gets all the privileges, huh?" He pushed her onto the couch. That's when she heard a voice. Olivia. She looked up and locked eyes with David. In that instant, he turned and walked out. "Michael!" she shouted, hitting him on the head with all her strength. He seemed to sober up, let go, and sat down silently. "What are you doing? That's not fair. You knew I loved David." "And you knew I loved you," Michael whispered. "You have to go after him. You have to explain everything." Michael nodded silently and left. Olivia watched him leave the yard, but whether he caught up to David she never knew, because after that David stopped talking to her. No matter how hard she tried to explain, he ignored her, until one day she couldn't take it anymore. "Why won't you let me explain?" David looked at her coldly. "Maybe because I don't need your explanations." Olivia didn't recognize him. His eyes were empty. "David, it wasn't what it looked like." He smiled bitterly. "I only trust what I see, not what people say. And anyway, you should go to Michael. I'm getting married. I have a wedding to plan." "You're getting married? You're joking, right?" "Why would I joke about that?" Olivia stared at him for a moment. Then she suddenly turned around and left. The main thing was not to cry. Michael was always nearby. He didn't seem to regret what he had done. Instead, he constantly repeated that no one would ever love her the way he did. A year later, she heard David got married and moved away with his young wife. Another year passed, and she married Michael. Not because she loved him, but because he was always there. Loving someone other than David seemed impossible. Today marked exactly 7 years since their wedding, and by a cruel coincidence, today was also her husband's funeral. Michael had always known Olivia didn't love him. He would get angry, cry, drink sometimes. A few days ago he yelled at her, saying she had ruined his life and that he never wanted to see her again. Olivia said nothing. She didn't care anymore. Michael stormed out, got in his car, and drove off. She thought he would return drunk by morning, but she had too much work to dwell on it. 3 years ago, she had opened her own studio. It wasn't a real company yet, more of a large tailor shop, but she was already thinking about starting her own brand. "Olivia, please sign the papers and you can leave," said a sharp voice, snapping her back to reality. It was just as sharp as that voice on the phone that night. "Your husband didn't make it. He lost control of the vehicle." There weren't many people at the funeral. A few of Michael's friends, some of her closer co-workers. They had no family. Michael had some distant aunt Olivia had never even met. Everyone had left. She stood alone near the grave. "Olivia!" a familiar voice called. She turned. It was Miss Anna. She looked so much older now, hunched and frail, holding a little girl no more than 2 years old. "Oh, Miss Anna, let me carry her. You must be tired." The old woman handed her the child. "Olivia, my dear," Miss Anna said softly, "I came here knowing you would be saying goodbye to Michael today. I'm dying. Old age, illness. Please, I'm begging you, take David's daughter. I won't live much longer, and she'll end up in an orphanage." Olivia stared at her in shock. "What happened? I don't understand," she asked. "David's wife died a year ago. Pneumonia. He started drinking, blaming himself for everything. I've been caring for little Marina, but I can't anymore. Please, for the love you once had, don't leave her." "Give me David's address," Olivia said. "He lives in the same place. He left, but came back. Nothing is working out for him anymore. I have to go now, Olivia. Forgive me. I have no one else to turn to. The little girl sat quietly in Olivia's arms. Only when Miss Anna started walking away did she reach out after her. Olivia knew it wasn't legal to just take a child like this, but she couldn't say no. Miss Anna could barely walk. "Want to go for a ride in the car?" she asked the girl. The child looked at her with big blue eyes, scrunched her nose, and babbled something unintelligible, but it was adorable. At home, Olivia was glad she had skipped the wake. She never understood how people could eat and drink after burying someone. She fed the child, "Marina," and the girl smiled. Olivia turned on some cartoons, then picked up her phone. Half an hour later, her co-worker arrived. Natalie was a mother of 3, a real mother in every sense. "Natalie, I don't know how long I'll be gone, maybe a couple of hours. Could you please watch her? I'll pay you well." Olivia stood before a familiar, shabby door. She couldn't believe David had taken to drinking. He had always been so composed, so proper. She rang the doorbell. Nothing. Maybe it didn't work. She pushed the door, and it opened. The smell of alcohol hit her immediately. She walked into the room. David was sleeping on the couch, surrounded by empty bottles. It looked like he had been drinking for days. Not eating, not doing anything else, just drinking. Olivia took off her coat, found some bags, and started cleaning up the mess. She threw everything out, then grabbed a rag and started tidying up the kitchen. Suddenly, a voice behind her. "Who are you?" She turned sharply. David had changed, older, gaunt, lifeless eyes. "Olivia, what the hell are you doing here?" "Hi, David. I came to talk." "There's nothing to talk about. Leave." "No," she said, angry now. "There is something to talk about. Look at what you've become. Are you so weak that you just gave up on everyone? Did you think about Marina, about Miss Anna? She can barely walk, and you left a child with her? Why? Work too hard? Or are you just a coward?" David scoffed bitterly. "Why are you even here? Go raise your precious Michael." "There is no Michael anymore. I buried him today." She paused. "If you ever remember you're a father, Marina's with me now. I'm going to see Miss Anna. She needs a hospital. Take care." David reached for her, but stopped himself. He stood silent as she closed the door behind her. Olivia sent Miss Anna to the hospital. Her blood pressure, a cold, and a whole bunch of other issues. Of course. How could she possibly take care of her own health when she was raising her great-granddaughter? Natalie bathed little Marina and fed her. "Don't worry, Olivia," she said kindly. "The girl's exhausted. She'll sleep through the night. But she keeps saying, 'Papa.' Does she have a father?" Olivia sighed. "Technically, yes, but honestly, it's like he doesn't exist." Marina slept deeply, and Olivia was so drained from the day that she lay down next to the child without even changing clothes. In the morning, they had breakfast together. Olivia caught herself smiling at Marina's cheerful babble. The girl was so expressive, constantly talking and hugging. Then the doorbell rang. Olivia got up, puzzled. Who would come this early? David stood on the doorstep, sober, shaved, dressed decently. "Papa! Papa!" Marina flew past Olivia and jumped into her father's arms. Olivia nearly broke down in tears. "Come in," she said quietly. The conversation was hard. Olivia felt that David still held resentment toward her. So she decided to tell him the truth, everything that had really happened back then. This time, he listened. "Why didn't you tell me all this back then?" And did you give me a chance to explain? I tried, but you pushed me away. Said you were getting married? David buried his face in his hands. So, it was me. I ruined everything. Olivia shook her head. No, it's not that simple. You could blame anyone. Michael for what he did. Me for not being able to explain. You for not listening. We were all at fault. And yet, maybe none of us really were. David, she continued gently, no matter what happened, you can't keep living like this. You have a daughter. She's incredible. 3 years later. Papa, is the baby brother cute? Marina asked, barely visible behind the enormous bouquet of flowers she refused to let go of. They were standing at the entrance of the maternity hospital, surrounded by friends and family. Miss Anna, now looking younger and even slightly plumper, was managing the whole process like a general. They had taken her in as soon as they got married and bought a house. Now they all lived together, and honestly, David couldn't even imagine how they had lived apart before. There they are, he called, rushing forward. His eyes met Olivia's. He mouthed just one word. Thank you. Then added with a tender smile, my love.